Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna set up yeah, of course. I'm a small creator myself, my friend. I, of course, I'm a supporter of small creators. I'm a small creator myself. What's up, everyone? Welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's a little later than I normally start the live stream, but I also started the earlier live stream, quite early, today for the storm. I am AI, yes. I'm Alan Iverson. What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining. How's everyone doing tonight? Happy Friday to you all. TGIF. Oh, well, thank you, Moonsprout. I like your name, Moonsprout. It's pretty cool. I dig it. I dig it. Thanks for joining. Thank you for the like. I really appreciate it. How's everyone doing out there? Yes, folks, please double tap those screens. I'm going to get a poll question started in a little bit here. I'm just trying to think of one. Kind of stalling with it. I appreciate the sub. Stay and hang out. That's the best thing you can do. Stay and hang out with us. And I just started the live stream 4 minutes ago, folks. Thank you all for joining. Oops, wrong one. All right. We got a poll question started, folks. You guys can please vote in the poll when you get a sec. That's greatly appreciated, folks. Nice easy question tonight. Are you a fan of true crime? Please double tap their screens to like this live stream and or click on that thumbs up button. Ding! It's all greatly appreciated. Digging the vibe of this live, please hit subscribe. How about something positive? Not everything in life is positive, my friend. But yeah, we love positivity, but not everything in life is positive. Unfortunately, people commit crimes. I am a gigantic true crime fan at this point. I really am. Specifically, I'm into a whole bunch of stuff like that, but there's Nancy Gunther. I keep saying Guthrie. It's not Guthrie. It's Nancy Guthrie. It's Guthrie. I keep thinking it's Guntrie, but that ain't right. I'm into that case big time, and of course the Idaho ones. Please vote in the poll, everybody. It should be right below. It's a nice, easy poll question this evening. Are you a fan of true crime? Yes, no, or what's that? Hello, Rihanna. Welcome. Thank you for joining. If you guys are digging the vibe of this live, please hit subscribe. So anyone that's voting in the poll that's responding and saying what's that? What's true crime? True crime is anything to do with like murder cases, like crimes that are committed. And what's up, Big M? Big M's back in the house. Thank you for joining, my friend. Appreciate it, dude. It's basically all the stuff that you see on the news, but I'm talking like deep dives into true crime. East Side. I'm not the big homie. You're the big homie. I'm just a little guy compared to you. I'm only like 5'10", 5'11", 180 pounds. You, Big M is for real. I ain't the big homie. Nice, man. Enjoy. Thanks for joining again. I really appreciate it. Please vote in the poll, everybody. I so badly want yes to win this poll, but I have a feeling that I'm going to be majorly disappointed. I mean, regardless, I'm going to be talking about something true crime in a little bit here. I'm just waiting for some other people to join. Your team, what's that? So basically right now, a perfect example would be like the Nancy Guthrie case that's going on. She was basically taken in the middle of the night. Savannah Guthrie's from the Today Show. Her mom was taken, 84 years old, middle of the night, back in February of this year. They still have no clue where she's at. Disappearances, people that just disappear. Yeah, like crime mysteries, murder cases, anything like that. Anything with that, like that type of stuff. The mystery stuff is what I like the most. That's what I truly am into the most. I love thinking about like what could have happened. And it's scary that people can go missing in this day and age. Oh, okay, nice. All right, so we'll change your answer to yes then. Please vote in the poll, everybody. We only have 7 votes in so far. Please vote in the poll right below. Let's try to get some votes in here. The other night, on the last, not the last live stream, but a couple live streams ago, I did like, do you like sports? And I'm surprised how neck and neck it was with yes and no. I really was shocked. It was like, I think yes ended up winning, like by like a small amount. But I was shocked with that. I really was shocked. But we need to get more data. 7 votes is just not enough. I know it's somewhat late. Yeah. And the FBI's involved. The FBI's involved with Nancy Guthrie. Majorly involved. I mean, I can't believe, I mean, not that, I can't believe they haven't found who, like, did it at least, or the group of people that did it. Maybe not have found her quite yet, but, you know, be on the verge of catching her, or not catching her, finding her. I mean, sadly, I don't think she's alive anymore, but, that's so sad. Dude, you did not just say that. You did not just say that. That's exactly what I think. That's my first theory. And I can't get into it too much on here for obvious reasons. But that's like my leading theory that you just said. No, I'm talking about the actual crime. Why so serious? The after the fact, I think, you know, I mean, you know, they're, like I said, the FBI is heavily involved, and they have a task force now where, you know, the detectives for that area and the FBI are now are working close together. What? They have a task force, and they're working close together now, and, you know, they sent DNA out, and I do know a little bit about the Zodiac Killer, yeah. That's another huge mystery. Great name drop there, my friend. Yeah, Zodiac Killer. Still have, they have no idea who that was, or they have no clue. No clue. I don't really watch Forensic Files. I have before, but that's not, I watch a whole bunch of stuff. 48 Hours I really like. There's a whole bunch of true crime, mostly all on YouTube. I watch more than anything. But yeah, I have seen Forensic Files. That's why, like, it's it's even more crazy to me, like, in this day and age, like, how much technology, like, they have DNA and everything, like, they have stuff, and she's just gone with cameras all in the area. It's like, technology the way that it is, cell phones, all this stuff, you know, and the ring cameras, there's just the vehicle. They obviously they had to use a vehicle. No one saw the vehicle. No, it's not on camera. Like, nothing. You know how rare that is nowadays? I mean, granted, it wasn't like a heavily populated, like, area per se, but I mean, the person that was on camera was literally picking up grass and plants to try to cover up the Ring camera. And yet this person has evaded law enforcement. You explain that one to me. Exactly. Traffic cameras, beautiful example, dude. That's what I'm talking about. All the technology that's out there, all the camera systems, everything. Of course. Of course. But if you don't, and they have a time, the thing is, they have a roundabout time where they believe that this happened. You know what I mean? They have the time period, so they can narrow that all down. And like I said, the FBI is involved. It's not just like the local sheriff and everything like that, and detectives. And local law enforcement. It's the FBI. I just think that she's just devastated. I mean, you know what? Oh man, hold on, lost the light. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I mean, they're just devastated, and I'm sure scared. You know, like she has to have protection now, like security. I honestly think that I think this had a lot to do with Savannah. Unfortunately, I think it had a lot to do with Savannah. I don't even think it was about the money. I don't think the money was even. I think the money was like a cover up or something like that. This was about Savannah for some reason or another. Um, for her celebrity, maybe for her like um, like this person might have been attracted to, like, might have been stalking. Maybe I'm just throwing theories out there. It could have been someone that has a vendetta against her personally for whatever reason. Um, that's kind of where some of the theory that I just discussed, Big M, earlier with you, real quick. That's kind of where that comes in a little tiny bit. Without I can't get into it, but that's where I kind of hatched some of those theories in my head. Kind of when this first happened. Julie, welcome. How are you? And she's just gone. But and the thing is if it was someone that and then all those and TMZ keeps saying they keep coming out with dude, those notes are not real. TMZ, stop bringing them out and talking about them publicly. They're traumatizing the family again. They're not. Those ones aren't real. But the two notes that were sent to the local news whatever office, those two seem like they could be real, and I think the FBI and law enforcement is treating them as if they're real, that they're actually from the person responsible. I've never heard of them. I'm gonna screenshot that, Julie. Thanks for sharing. I will check them out. Oh, and the biggest thing, Tris, the biggest thing is DNA. They're now solving cases, majorly cold cases from the 1970s and stuff like the 1980s and early 1990s, because they got DNA samples and enough of them, and they send them in, and they're solving cases, cold cases from decades ago. Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Well, kidnapping, basically. And the DNA, they said it's going to take time because there's a lot, there's like, I forget what it's exactly called, like the exact wording, but DNA was sent out. It was sent out a while ago. But the thing is there's multiple people's DNAs mixed into it. So there's a lot that they have to do with it in order to like separate it out and get what they need to get. Exactly. The Golden State Killer is a great example of genetic genealogy. They use genetic genealogy to capture the Golden State Killer. There's a whole bunch of like new tools at the disposal of law enforcement now that are brand new. Like I don't think they don't have to do much detective work anymore. I mean, they do, but they don't. With technology and like the technology side of things, like cell phones, GPS monitoring, like tracking and all that kind of stuff. What's that called? With cell phones, it's rare that they can get a thing to do it, but it's what's that called? With cell phones, and they can basically within like a certain area circle of wherever the crime happened, they can get everyone that was using their cell phone device in that area. Yeah, that's awesome that your dad did that. And thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing, my friend. Um, yeah, that happens. That happens. The really bad ones, they're like, oh, I got pulled over. It's it's called something, and it's very like um, controversial. Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's gonna drive me nuts. Geofencing. I got it. I thought of it. Yes, I didn't have to do that. It's called geofencing. Have you guys ever heard of that? That's a brand new tool that law enforcement's now using, and it's called geofencing, and it's tough. It's a tough one to use. Um, it's tough because they have to like, sift through everything, and so basically it's like you know how like so with our cell phones we all have tons of apps and stuff like that. Like we have Google, we have YouTube, we have all kinds of stuff, and those apps are like, so when we're traveling around, even driving on the roads or walking down the street or walking down a dirt road or wherever in a home, wherever we are, Sherry, our phones are always trying to connect, and and that's logged. All that stuff's logged electronically, and the law enforcement can actually get a warrant and like so from Google, for instance, and Google will send all within whatever given area that law enforcement wants it in, where the crime happened. They'll give all the data that they have for cell phone usage for Google in that area at that particular time that law enforcement wants it, but they have to narrow it down to that specific time, a day and night or night, and that area, and then Google will send it. But it's all these like think about it, like long lists of like longitude, latitude, all this stuff. So all these data points that law enforcement now has to sift through, and they wean out the ones that they know that okay, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it, and then it's really difficult and it's very time consuming, and that they can actually catch people that way. there's a case the other day. I saw it on. They used it, and they were like, it was incredibly difficult to sift through all the data points. But once we did, we narrowed it down to like 5 or 6 different cell phones and users, and then they were like, okay, now it's down to 2, so it's one of these 2. And then they were like, okay, this person's got a past crime record. They committed this crime before. That's most likely the guilty party. So they brought them in for questioning. And they're like, why were you at it? They were in the like right near the location of the murder. Yeah, I bet. Hey, Sherry, welcome. I was hoping that you're able to join. No, it's not AI. Please vote in the poll, everybody. I'm getting a bad neck. So yeah, so I mean, I think one of the biggest things is like, are these notes real? The TMZ notes are definitely not real. I definitely don't think that those ones are real. And I wish they would stop coming out with them and talking about them, because they're fake. But the 2 that were sent to that local news office, they seem to be being treated as if they're real by the FBI and law enforcement and the Guthrie family. And of course, I was watching and listening to like analyzing the language that's with. They even have people that can do that not only like that will analyze how you write things, how you normally write things, like an email or a note or whatever have you, and they can tell if that was that person or not, or if that was someone else by just the words. There's a science to it. And that's what they were breaking down. It was really cool. And then like, how they use certain words, how their punctuation, their grammar, you know what I mean? They use all of that stuff. That's all science now. And they can break all that down. They use it often in these true crime cases. It's really cool. It's really difficult to get away with a crime nowadays. It really is. And it should be. I hope that gets even more and more difficult. That's how it should be. But it's like all this stuff, like you mean to tell me like you don't know what happened? They were saying that, Sherry. They were saying that. I don't see. I disagree with that. I read and heard that too. That it could have been from a female because of the sensitivity of the writing. But like, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I probably wouldn't use that wording myself, but that's not because I'm a male. It's just because that's not how I talk. But I think like saying that would only be from a female is kind of like a bit, I don't know if it's like misogynistic, but it's kind of like that's how a female talks. That's not how a male talks. Like, I think I don't think that females and males, like, I think we're all the same and like we're all different. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I'm trying to make this make sense. Like it's cliches. It is what it is. And although most men probably don't talk that way or write that way, some do. So you can't say it's most likely a female. All right, you understand? Okay, you see what I'm saying? And the vice versa. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to me. And although I get what, like, I think that's old school. That's like old mindset. That's old school thinking. I really, like, I don't think you can tell. I mean, even on here, I'm just thinking right now. You know how like sometimes we like to guess like male or female on here when we're interacting with people? They're typing, they're writing stuff to us. And most of the time we get it wrong. So like I don't know. And the thing is like it could have been a male or males that committed the crime, but had a female write the note for them. So like that's the thing. I don't get it. And can't it was sent through email. These notes were sent through email, Sherry, and everyone else. Can't you track their IP address and everything? Like, it's the FBI. Everything's trackable. They can use a VPN, they can use other stuff to hide them, but like, can't you see into that stuff? This does not seem like a professional. Right. And it's like, and I'm beginning to think that this has a lot to do with Savannah Guthrie. Like, it could have been a stalker of hers or stalkers. Um, I'm not sure what that means, Julie. Uh, or someone that had a vendetta against her for whatever reason. Maybe a disgruntled fan, ex-coworker, ex-boyfriend. You know, who knows? I'm beginning to think that could be the thing. And they're not going to say that, of course, because it could possibly give them away. Because, you know what I mean? Like, because then they're going to be looking into everyone and everything. And, like, I think this person's, whoever, hello, how are you, Shelby, welcome. I think whoever wrote those letters or whoever was trying to contact, and you know what I mean, like they're done. I don't think they're gonna do that again. And I think that I think ultimately it's gonna be the DNA that's gonna eventually come back. The DNA is gonna take a long time. It's already been taking a while. It's going to take a while because they have a lot. There's like multiple like DNAs within their samples. So they have to sift through everything, and that takes a lot of time, and they may have to even go get more or whatever have you. What? I was like, are you talking about that song? Or are you talking about something completely different? And it's like the vehicle, like they had to have driven her away from her home. She could barely walk. They certainly didn't carry her, and she can't walk that far. She really can't. She couldn't walk that far. She wasn't in good health. So they needed a vehicle. So when you add a vehicle into the mix, into the investigation, like you open up a whole bunch of can of worms. Big time. You know, and it's like, what's going on with that? And they're not saying anything. They're not talking about. They're not saying a word, and that's typical FBI. That's typical FBI, and rightfully so. But if you're going to keep those that much close to the chest and not say anything publicly, you better catch the person. You know what I mean? You better have somebody in mind or a group of people in mind. No, they haven't. They haven't. And I know that they reached out to the public and they're looking into like January 11th the 2 weekends prior to the kidnapping, to her being taken. They're looking into heavily. I don't think she's alive anymore. I don't think she's alive anymore. But I hope that they can at least, you know, get her remains, and you know, I really hope so, for especially for the family's sake. I really do, and you know, and for her sake, you know what I mean. I mean, I hope that she's still alive, but I just I don't see how I don't see how she is. Unfortunately, I mean, without her medication and stuff like that, especially. I mean, unless they were able to get it and had that planned, but I don't see, and I don't think it was about the money at all. Power Animals, what's up? I really don't think it was about the money at all. First of all, that ransom note, if that is real, that is the most like vague, like non like directional like ransom note ever. It's like, you send this much by this day. If you get it by this day, then send this dollar amount, and then if it's this day, then send that dollar amount. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. They don't give you two choices. They're like, I want this dollar amount by this time on this day, and this is where you're gonna send it to. And the FBI put money in. They put like $152 into it, into that, whatever it is, one of those online things. And welcome everybody, thanks for joining. And no one's touched it. So the only way that they can track, what's that called? Like, what's the online money stuff called? Bitcoin? That's where they wanted it to be sent. But the thing is if they can't track the money that's in the account unless they go to move that money or like transition that to actual US dollars. It's weird, and that's probably why they did what they did. But I just think that they wanted to see if the law enforcement would put some money in there. I don't think it had anything to do with money at all. I don't think the money thing was I think the money thing was a complete cover-up. I think it was to mask what the actual motive was for her for Nancy's kidnapping. And I think the motive for the kidnapping was to get at Savannah specifically. It was to hurt Savannah deeply for whatever reason. I think that's what it was. Yes, true prime time. Thank you for joining with your shield. What's up, Power Animals? Thank you guys for being here. Please vote in the poll, everybody, when you guys get a second. Got 16 votes so far. Let's get some more votes in. Double tap those screens, folks, and or click on that thumbs up button. Ding. Greatly appreciated digging the vibe of this live. Please hit subscribe. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. And just to switch gears here just a little tiny bit, but going to the Idaho case with that, I'm not going to say his name here. I'm going to try not to. Call him BK, not Burger King, BK. Brian Koberger, say his name once. Trying to, say now that, oh no, I'm innocent and I was coaxed into taking a guilty plea for murdering 4 people. Come on, dude. Come on, get real. Who in their right mind confesses and says I'm guilty to murdering 4 people when they're not guilty for it? Come on. Come on. No, I don't. Arr. You calling me a pirate? Arr. Yeah, Moment of Contact. I started watching some of that. What the heck? Yeah, no, I started watching that. It's like one of those YouTube like movies, right, Sherry? It's like one of those YouTube movies. Those are good. YouTube puts out some like phenomenal documentaries. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that's it. Yes, yes, I've seen quite a bit of that. That's excellent, Sherry. Yes. Oh, in other countries, tons. I think Brazil is like one of the biggest ones. Brazil, Mexico, a lot of South American countries have been investigating that stuff for a long, long time, and then some. Yeah, with your shield, yes. The people missing 411. It's called. Yes, it's called Missing 411 on YouTube. It's one of the YouTube movies, and one of the best ones is Missing 411: The Hunted. That's like one of the best ones. And I mean, these cases. Oh, listen. We know that already, right? Everybody. We know that there's people that not people. We know that there's life forms here that have visited us, and they still are visiting us, and they're probably still here, and they're out in space all over. And this has been for a long time now. It's really not far fetched. It's not. People were like, "Oh my God, it's so crazy though," and it's like it's really not though. Think about it. In all of space, in the whole universe, there are beings that are visiting Earth because they're curious and for whatever reasons. They're a life form that's more advanced than us, of course. How is it's not far fetched, but that's actually very believable. In fact, I never like thought or looked at people that saw aliens or saw UFOs or any. I never thought that was crazy sounding. I'm like, it probably happened. I mean, some of those people might be completely crazy. I think a small percentage of them. But when you start getting into military personnel talking about this stuff, and a lot of it's been classified for decades, and they haven't been able to talk about it, and they probably have been like, I just want to talk about this. My experiences. My experience or my experiences. I mean, you're talking like a lot of these military people, they had multiple experiences. But yeah, the missing 411, the missing 411 stuff is really, really interesting. It's very, uh, very mysterious. Very, very like, holy crap. Have you guys ever heard of it? That stuff? I think the most wild parts about the missing 411 stuff, like people missing in national parks specifically, is that there's like hundreds of cases now. And there's in each one of these cases, like there's very specific things that they all have in common. And some of them have a mixture of those things in common. Some are missing some of that stuff. Some have extra of that. Some don't. Some don't. But there's like I think there's like a list of like 8 or 10 different things that are extremely common within all these missing persons cases, for the missing 411 cases in national parks, specifically in the United States, but basically all around the world, but very specifically in the United States, this investigation is all about. And it's, I mean, I think it's aliens. I think it's always been aliens. I think, for whatever reason, you know, and if you think about it, national parks, the world is their oyster. Those parks are their oysters. Who's, you know, there's not many people in them, and they're all and they're actually, these people are disappearing, like right near other people. They're just gone. Sometimes their bodies show up and they find them dead somewhere, but they already searched that area, and then they find them dead, or still alive in some cases, or their boots are found in an area that was already heavily searched. It's the most bizarre. They're always around like bodies of like water is always near, like a river, a stream, creeks, lake, whatever have you, and rocks, big boulders, very specifically, big huge boulder rocks, and water is very common. And a lot of these people go missing, and then there's and this is really bizarre, and then there is some type of like weather phenomenon. So like there's a heavy like blizzard, or there's a heavy snowfall, there's like a torrential rainstorm, and everything gets flooded in the area. Very dense fog will roll in, and what that does is it hinders the search efforts. What do you mean by magnifiers with your shield? Very bizarre stuff. You guys are quiet tonight. I mean, look, I'll just ask you guys a question flat out. If you guys can say in the, oh, definitely, oh, without a doubt with your shield, for sure, yeah. Also, usually where there is water, there are rocks, especially big boulders. Usually where there's rocks, there's water. They kind of go hand in hand, for the most part. I'm just saying. So, and in a very easy way for, especially if it's like aliens or whoever it is, a very easy way to not lose where you're at, and to know where you're going all the time, especially in a huge national park that everything looks the same, is to follow the water source, the waterway, so that you you don't, like, there's always a way out. You know the waterway. That's like one of the main things. If you ever get lost in the middle of nowhere, you follow the creek, you follow the water source, and you'll get to safety eventually. Plus, it's a lifeline. And they know that whoever's doing it knows that people are going to be along where the water is. Yep, definitely. So I'm just gonna flat out ask you guys if you guys are willing to share. I don't know who's still here. I think I lost a lot of you guys, but what do you mean, Big M? I don't know, man. You said. What do you mean? Yes, Big M is in the house. You're kind of indifferent about what, Big M? I'm gonna get there with your shield. Just give me one sec. Stay and hang out, Matthew, and you will find out, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for who all have voted in the poll. What the heck? Big M, if you want to elaborate, I want to give you a second to elaborate on what you were just saying, and then I'll ask that question. Just keep reminding me, guys. Actually, you know what? We can switch over. I actually want to change the question. What could be a psychological operation? The missing 411 stuff? The abduction itself. I'm confused. Are you talking about Nancy Guthrie? Are you talking about the missing 411 stuff? Or are you talking about something else? I'm just trying to get, because I want to hear what you're saying. I don't think that missing 411 is an essential scam, but okay. I don't think it's a scam. I don't know why. I don't know what would be the benefit of that, other than, I mean, I don't even know that he's necessarily making money. That detective's making money off of this stuff. Like, he's retired. Like, he's doing a lot of this stuff on his own time. I guess the movie made him money and stuff like that, but I mean, he seems legit. Yeah, that's true. Hey, I respect your opinion. I appreciate you sharing your opinion. I don't agree. I respectfully disagree. But even though I think some of it might be a little bit, I mean, the stuff's true. That's for sure. They're not making stories up. He's not doing that. There's family members. This stuff's really happened, but whether or not it's all connected, that's the biggest thing. That would be the scam part. if you're going, if with the political stuff, Big M, I'm in agreement with you. You know, we talked about this earlier. If that's what you're saying. Hey, what's up, Bassy? Welcome. Thank you for joining. So my question was going to be, do you guys believe in aliens? Do you believe that aliens are real? Do you believe in aliens? Well, there's a lot he doesn't explain because he can't explain it. Sherry believes in aliens. I believe in aliens for sure. With your shield believes in aliens. Yes. Yes, Lure Lodge. I watched Lure Lodge. As a matter of fact, that guy that does Lure Lodge, Matthew, the guy that does Lure Lodge is somewhat of a local guy from where I grew up. Oh, Big M, that's so kind of you. You're such a kind soul, my friend. We love having you here. Thank you. Thank you for being here, dude. Thank you for being a part of this channel and these live streams. You live in Nevada. That's right. You live in Nevada. That's right. Even what happened in Nevada, I think it was Nevada, not too long ago, a couple years back, where this thing shot out of the sky and ended up in these people's backyard, and the cops saw it. The cops actually got it on their dash cam video of the thing falling down out of the sky. And then that family was like, they called 911, and the young guy on the phone sounded absolutely terrified. He's like, there are things here, like, that's not human, and they're 8 feet tall, and because they crashed, and then they had to get it all, I guess, get their thing started, their ship started back up, and then they eventually did. But he started, like, the whatever it was got into one of their trucks that they had in the backyard. Well, I think the fact that there's air bases there. Hang on, I don't want to miss anybody's stuff. Yes, is Big M. Yep. Yeah, and this has been going on. You know, this stuff has been going on for decades upon decades. In fact, the majority of I think once we started to develop and test and use the nuclear bombs, like nuclear energy in general, and use them as weapons, especially using them as weapons, I think that's what brought them here majorly, because they must have detected it somehow, some way. Is Big M just you or your buddy? Just asking, no hate. He's my buddy now. I met him here. Art Bell. Yeah, my old sci-fi class in 10th grade, our teacher loved Art Bell. Your name's Marcus, we got that. Just a fat dude in Nevada who likes Jersey Mike's and heavy metal. I didn't know that you liked heavy metal. I don't know why people get hung up on that either. Like, is there other beings like us? Like, who? I don't really care. I personally don't care. But there are other beings, is what I care about, and I know that there has to be. There has to be, and there is. But we haven't really ventured too far off this planet, folks. We really haven't ventured too far off this planet yet. We've gotten to the moon. We haven't even explored the majority of our own solar system, our own galaxy, at all. Let alone the rest of outer space and the universe, where I believe these beings, whomever they are, have and know how to and have gone obviously have figured out how to get to faraway places, and also have developed their technology and their spacecraft, especially their aircraft, to be able to be in an atmosphere like our own on our planet. Right. It's incomprehensible how huge the universe really is. And that's I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. And it like I think people get hung up on like what we know as science here and physics and everything like that, and all the rest of the sciences. The technology and the stuff that these beings are able to use and that they do use is beyond our understanding of what science and all the stuff that we know, physics, everything. It goes above all that stuff. It's way out of our grasp of knowledge and what we can handle. It that's just what it is. And that gives me hope, because it's like, wow, there is so much more. And that's the thing. That's why technology and everything's going to keep. Notice how it keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. Well, that's innovation. It's creation. That's what I think is one of the big things of life. That's why we were put here in the first place. Maybe there is. I don't really understand any of that stuff, but the glitch in the matrix thing. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. Come back and see you soon, my friend. Basky, I'm not really sure what you're trying to say, my friend. I love how certain people well, not in a bad way, but um you know they start talking to Sherry. I'm not referring to you, Big M. I'm just saying some people just start talking randomly. It happened in the live stream a couple times ago. And the time before, after that, and I remember you were, Sherry, you were like, what? I feel like it might have been the same person last time. I could be wrong. We don't hear from Romario anymore. Yeah, exactly. And I don't mind that. I love when you guys interact with one another. I think that's a huge part of my live streams that I really want to continue. Like I love that you guys interact with one another, especially when I go and leave for a little bit. I love that you guys talk with each other. Yeah, I think I am correct. I think I remember that. It was Scott. He was like, whatever. Hey, what's up, Velocity? Welcome. Who else haven't we seen in a while? Yeah, man, I love hearing that. I'm so happy that you enjoy it. And I just love having all you guys. I really do. I do. I think we have great conversations here, and we're going to continue to. Um, and it's a growing community of people. You know, we have a growing community. That's why, like, when we lose someone, like we haven't seen Romario here in forever. He contributed on to our conversations and our live streams in this channel. He was also, also a moderator and everything. And it's like, definitely miss him. But I know I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he definitely doesn't come here anymore. I can't remember his name. He was a moderator for a bit too. Sherry's one of the like original. I know Ruby Tuesday. She joins. She's a moderator as well. Soul Sister, yeah, but that was that. No, no. Yeah, friends chatting, exactly. No, no, no. I know Romario was working like third shift or whatever, so he was like working overnight, and he was able to join once in a while. Um, if I noticed that if I stay live super late night, especially like on like a weekendish, close to the weekend, sometimes he's able to join, but I haven't seen him for a long time. Sports Jazz fan, what's up, dude? Happy Friday to you too. TGIF, my friend. Love true crime, by the way. Yeah, man. Yeah, I did look up, about BK. Yes, welcome, Jazz. Yeah, I wonder too. He did get a new lawyer. He got a new public defender or whatever, who's closely related to the other one, which it's all BS. It's all BS. This is complete BS, and you know, those poor families. This guy just wants the attention. He wants the control, the power. Even to be able to relive, like, you know, see the evidence again and stuff. Horrible, absolutely horrible. In a way, I hope he's retried, and I hope he gets the DP. He deserves it. I mean, if there's anybody that deserves that, it's him. It's that guy who definitely did it. By the way, I don't have any doubt in my mind that he's guilty of those crimes. He definitely did it. I can tell by just the look of him. I mean, seriously. Oh no, no. Someone, so sports jazz fans. Someone, a narcissist, like him, a narcissist like him. I think he's a psychopath. Honestly, he doesn't want the DP. No. You know why? Because he no longer gets the attention. That's what he's in it for. It's not just an attention seeker. You're talking about grandiosity. You're talking about a full-blown narcissist and a psychopath. Someone who feeds off of that stuff. This is his MO. This is what he does. He stalks his prey, and they're saying now that they believe, well, I don't know how much I believe that dude that was talking, but they had a guy that was from the prosecution, and they were talking. It was crazy. He was on like one of Brian Enton's on his channel, I believe. Yeah. And they had the Gonzalez family, the sister, the mom, the dad, Brian Enton, and this guy who basically was hired by the prosecution. I'm sorry, by the defense. Sorry. Thank you for the happy poop. I really appreciate that, stinky butt. That's funny. And he had a lot to do with the technology, the cell phone of Brian Koberger, very specifically. And he was saying that there is quite a bit of evidence of BK being in that house or around that house, like a lot, prior to those murders. And that the phones cross paths the most between BK and Maddie Mogan. So that is what tells him that he believes that Maddie Mogan was the intended target. Like, as if, like, he basically he was stalking her first and foremost. Why he left the one roommate alive, I have no idea. I think he was just exhausted. But that is so terrifying, because she was hammered and petrified beyond belief. I mean, imagine that. And he walked, like, basically right past her and out the door. Not past her, but right, like, you know, past her view and out that side door. How freaking terrifying. Maybe. But when you go on death row, you're still in prison, and the living conditions on death row is way worse than what he's doing now, when he's gotten out. And you could still be on death row for sometimes even decades. You know what I mean? He's not going to get the DP. He's not going to get that. That's not going to happen. He's got too many like movies, shows, books to either write or be a part of before that happens. What he's doing is he's just dragging it out again. Just dragging it. Just like, you know, he drugged the whole process. Drugged that whole process. He's like, I'm guilty. Guilty plea. I'm guilty for all 4 murders. Okay, then what was all those years of preparation and dragging the process out for? To go to trial, and you didn't even go to trial. And now he wants a trial. It's like, dude, there's no other ands, ifs, or buts about it. The dude, this was his plan all along, just to keep dragging this out, because he knows how to take advantage of the system. He's a criminologist. He's a trained criminologist. All right, Big M. Take care, buddy. Thanks for joining. Have a great night. You the man, brother. All right, to say that I was shocked that BK took a guilty plea deal is, to say the least. That was the last thing that I thought was going to happen with someone like him. And then it happened. And now it's like, and a lot of most of the people like that were close to the case, they kind of anticipated this anyway. I think probably even the judge anticipated it. And most people out there that are close to they're like, he doesn't really have a shot in hell. Like, he doesn't. He admitted to guilt. And, you know, he's also his major was criminology. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he was probably directing them most of the time. His own defense. But I don't think I think the evidence against him, and we haven't even seen the majority of it. The evidence against him, I believe, is I wouldn't say quite overwhelming, but it's as close to overwhelming as you can possibly get. Meaning, like, there's a lot of evidence against him that says he's guilty, and to deny it is it's tough. The DNA is really, really tough. They use genetic genealogy for his DNA, and they traced it to his father, and then they found him, and then he just happened to own that same vehicle. He also so happened to live like 20 minutes away. He was a criminologist major in the college that was right, in the next state over, 20 minutes away. It just so happened that he has dark, bushy eyebrows and those freaky eyes, just like the roommate, the surviving roommate said. It just so happened that, they said that he purchased the knife. He purchased that same knife, they don't have the knife, but the type of knife on Amazon, like months prior to the murders. His cell phone data and his cell phone tracking, putting him around the crime scene before and afterwards. Yeah, I mean, trying to think what else they have. I mean, they have stuff. I think so. In the Idaho 4 murder case, I believe law enforcement did a phenomenal job. In the Guthrie case so far, law enforcement, I think they've gotten their stuff together now in Nancy Guthrie case, definitely. But in the beginning, it was bad to say the least, and maybe even a little after. I just think it was the disconnect between the sheriff plus his department. They all hate him, a lot of them. I mean, they hate him, and on top of that, the FBI on top of that, and the sheriff hates the FBI. So there was a disconnect between all law enforcement, and that makes for a disastrous, investigation. Dude, it's so haunting to say the least. And it, like, you can tell that's the one where he's like somewhat smiling, like smirking, smiling. Like, you can tell, like, I'm trying to think of how to describe that smirk and that smile. I wouldn't even say it's a smile. It's like a smirk. You could tell he's trying so hard. And have you guys ever seen Big Bang Theory? And when Sheldon, they're like, let me see your smile or whatever. And he's like, and it's so creepy looking. That's what that reminds me of. Yeah, it kind of, it is. It's a look of like, yeah, I just did that. Like satisfaction. And it's even forced. I think he doesn't feel emotion. So Brian Enton seems to be obsessed with wanting to know if Koberger like feels for his family and wants to make this less for his family. And I just want to write to Brian Enton or just like shake him and be like, this guy does not feel human emotion, dude. He doesn't feel anything. Nothing. Ever. Since he's been a child, he's never felt at all. He openly has talked about that and admitted that plenty of times in his past, even prior to the murders. He does not feel. He's incapable of feeling, which obviously makes something like murdering 4 people fairly simple. It's another day at the park for him. That is a full-blown psychopath. That's someone who, like, that's somebody who, I think he was born that way. And it's just how he's always been. And I don't necessarily think that he's been planning this like his whole life, but I think his whole life has been was leading up to those murders, or that moment. I don't think it's going to go to trial, dude. I don't think the judge is going to allow it to go to trial. I hope not. Yeah. Well, I don't think he's allowed to appeal. I don't think it's technically an appeal, because when you do a plea bargain for as guilty, I don't think you're allowed to appeal. But I think it's something like to do with like he's blaming his defense team, and that he was coerced and all that kind of stuff. So it's not. I don't think it's an appeal per se, but it's almost like I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't believe that you should be allowed to do that. I believe that you sign and you speak to everything that you are not. If you agree to something like that, and then the DP is taken off the table because of that, no matter what your sentence is after the fact, you can't go back on that. You should not be allowed to go back on He openly said in court that yes, 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 I am guilty of all, and the judge read out all the names, read it all out, and I thought it was like overkill. I'm like, man, this is like pretty wild. But they have it. It's all been done. It's all been said. How can you go back on that? How can any court or judge allow something like that to happen? That's making, talk about it, making a mockery of your courtroom and your court. That's up to the judge to get that under control and be like, no, no, we're not going here. You weren't coerced into admitting to guilt of murdering 4 young people by knife point. Come on. Let's be realistic here. That's just it. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, but I don't know a lot about law. I don't know about a lot about the judicial system. Our judicial system, there's so many loopholes that it's ridiculous. Me too. It's just so terrifying. I just I can't I just cannot believe that there's somebody out there that, like, we hear about. I have to be careful because I can't really say this stuff on YouTube. But mass blank, you know what I mean? Fill in the blank there. Like, we're used to like pew pew, not you know what he did being mass blank. And all in one night, not only just in one night, but in less than 15 minutes. Like, that is, it's so very terrifying. It almost seems like as though like it might have been 2 or 3 people that had to be in there doing that stuff. I think that they were incredibly intoxicated. I think that they were incredibly intoxicated, and I think that they well, the one roommate didn't even come out of her room. She stayed in her room. She didn't even. I don't even think she witnessed. I think she maybe heard some sounds, some noises. But again, it was very late. It was 4 something in the morning on a Saturday night, and they had some big football game and stuff like that. So they were all they were all partying that night, all separately, and they were there. I mean, they were drunk. They were messed up, and God knows what else. You know what I mean? So that was first and foremost. And I think that BK knew that. I think that he knew that, and he banked on that to his advantage. Because if they weren't as heavily intoxicated as they were, I don't think things would have went down the way that they did fully. Yeah, I know, man. I know. Come into my room, run. Run! Yeah, she wrote run. It's like, how in your mindset, if you are saying run to your roommate that she's that scared, I just, even if you're really messed up, like, why, like, I'll never understand. I know. And then you fell asleep. First of all, I wouldn't be able to sleep after that. I wouldn't even be able to sleep after that unless I was like messed up beyond belief. I don't know what he knew. I think he did. I think he knew that I was saying I think that BK anticipated that they'd all be wasted, that they'd all be heavily intoxicated, especially at that time of night on a Saturday after the football game. He knew what he was doing. He knew when he was attacking. I think he was in that house before. Absolutely. I think I think he was banking on the other roommates being asleep by then, because it was, like I said, 4 something in the morning. You know, so he was thinking like they're asleep by now, and that's why he was circling with his car. It showed on camera, showed him circling the home. He was waiting for lights to go out. So he's got the cover of darkness, and he knows who's where. I mean, maybe not exactly who they are, but he knows that like where the rooms are and stuff like that. I think he was in there before, and I think he targeted them on weekends when they were out, or maybe got into the house when there's a lot of people there where he wouldn't have been noticed as much. Yeah, man, I love true crime. He definitely had been to the house before. I mean, at least outside the house, and I'm talking multiple times. Definitely, without a doubt, staked it out, everything. Did his homework. That guy had nothing but time. He had no friends, so he knew what he was doing by that point. He was ready to go. Clearly, it showed. High risk though, going in a house like that with all those people there. You know, very high risk. But that again, psychopaths don't really think about that. They don't really think about consequences. I don't know what that means. Set. But yeah, he was definitely there. Yeah, I mean, I think he would have still been caught with the car. Because remember, they still captured that car, and they knew that they'd already seen his car on that Washington campus. An officer, they were already looking for that vehicle all around that area. Oh, now I get what they were saying. Because my screenshot. To prank hot chicks? What? No, you can't. I specifically posed for. I love that it's still your profile picture. That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, like, I think he just chose her like randomly for whatever reason, and I think he was stalking her. She was the main target. I don't think that he anticipated them to be the two girls to be sleeping in bed together that night. I don't, cause like that's not normal. I mean, in college, I guess it is, but like I don't think he anticipated that. And so then he had to deal with that, and so then that was louder, and it made way more of a commotion. And it just so happened that Xana and her boyfriend, well, I think Ethan was passed out in her bed, but Xana was up. She just had gotten a food order, and she comes up the stairs and she's like, "What? Oh my god!" And then she starts running, and then he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta get her, because I'm gonna get busted." And he was still like in that that you know that moment, and then they get Xana, and then it just so happens then I'm sure that woke up Ethan in her bed in her room, because she got down to there, because that's where she was found dead, was in her bedroom at the door. So she got back to her doorway. That's where he overturned her, overpowered her, and then he had to go and get Ethan on the bed, because he was there. And then at that point, that's when he sits down and he's like, oh my God. I I didn't plan on all of this, but that's what happened. Yeah, I think they all were. It was either Maddie or um, Keely that were the main target. I can't play any music on the stream, but yeah, no, you can't send anything here. No sound stuff. But thanks for being here. I mean, I honestly just think that he's doing this so that it keeps things relevant in the news, because everything was falling out of the news because he pled guilty. Once he did that, once he pled guilty, it was like there was that initial couple weeks of reporting on that, and then it's done. And now he's just in jail. So he wants to stay fresh. He wants to stay in the news. He wants to stay in the loop. And the only way to do that is to do what he's just doing right now. Even though I don't think he has a shot, but he's still trying. So because it's like he wants to stay in the news. He wants to stay relevant for as long as possible. Look how long he's drugged this thing out. Those murders happened in 2022. 2022. You just watched Kelsey. Thank you for joining. You just watched the Netflix documentary. How was it? I don't have Netflix. I want to see it. Pizzazz. Jazz hands. Shut up. It was good? Nice. Thanks for sharing. I wouldn't say Nancy Guthrie has gone cold. Not yet. What, March, April, May, June, July, August. It's been 6 months. No, there's nothing new. I mean, they're still investigating. Two different law enforcements in these cases. Comedy is your favorite genre? Nice. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, they're coming out. That's what I'm saying. See, you see all this stuff, guys? This is what he wants, though. This is what he wants. And the thing is like, how do you not come out with stuff like this? Because, like, what he did is just like, how do you not come out with books? How do you not come out with documentaries on Netflix and HBO and every channel possible? I mean, seriously. If you're a true crime fan, you know about this case for sure. That's what he wants. He definitely knew that the documentary was coming out for sure. As far as whether or not he knew, and then that's why he did what he did, dude. I think just in general, he's just doing this to drag this out more, to stay relevant in the news. And maybe he's the type of person that maybe that's maybe what you just said. Jazz fan. I can't see the actual photos or the actual scenes. I would literally barf. I can't see that kind of stuff myself. I don't like it. It's gross. It's disgusting. I would never want to be like in a courtroom when they're showing that stuff. No freaking way. That part of things I don't want anything to do with. I'm serious. I would start barfing everywhere. I don't know why I'm personally drawn to it. I think um, for me, actually no, I do know that the answer to that question. Cause so for me, I like to try to understand people that are like that, so that I can avoid them, and that maybe I could help out someone else that could be in that situation and around someone that's like that, including myself. Um, I think that it's incredibly important to learn from people like Brian Koberger. It's incredibly important to understand somewhat of what makes these type of people tick and do the things that they do and why they do them, to hopefully avoid stuff like this in the future and other people to get hurt, or their lives end. You know, and the thing is with someone like Brian Koberger, so there's there's a civil suit now in courts by the families, the victims' families. They're they're suing in court the like Washington State University, I believe it is. I think that's was the college he went to, because the professors there specifically knew that there was major issues with Koberger. In fact, so much so that he like made female students and other female like whatevers that were around him in the classroom settings feel extremely uncomfortable, and then some. And it's signs like that. In fact, some of his professors even said like that he would probably commit this, do that, not ever getting to the point of the crimes that he committed, but still horrible things that they were thinking like this dude might eventually do eventually, because he's so disturbing. And it's like you can't ignore the red flags like that. You have to, like, especially when they're that obvious. You gotta do something. Multiple people have to do something, uh, and no one did. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Not just complaints. Not just complaints. Actual like students, other students, and I think other like equals of his that were female, and they're all you're talking all females. They wouldn't even go to their cars when he was in the building or anywhere around the area. They had to be walked to their vehicles by other professors or other students, whatever have you. They had to be accompanied by someone else because they were terrified of him. I mean, the dude was, you know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he was stalking behaviors times 10, and he did it without being noticed, except at school. He couldn't even like mask it. He couldn't even hide it. Well, which is why he started to do it when people aren't that don't know that he's there. In the case of the Idaho Four, especially Maddie, she didn't even know he was there most likely, most of the time. But he's there, and he's watching her, and he's following her, stalking her, and then he targets her specifically. And boom, look, and he's like, "Now I got you." That's what he was doing with these female students and these females that were in his school, but they were protected. They were being walked out and accompanied by the people, so he couldn't do anything, couldn't act on it. So what does he do? He targets students, a student at the university that's 20 minutes away. And he does it under the radar. That's what he did. That is very terrifying to think about. That's how deeply disturbed this dude is, and then some. I mean, that deeply disturbed is not even the way to describe it. He is your full-blown psychopath. He is like, and he studied criminology. I think the only reason he got into criminology in the first place, it like, he was interested in it, but I think ultimately he studied it knowing that he was going to do what he was going to do. And I think, you know, if you're studying that kind of stuff and you're deep into it like he was, and how they educated in it, you know that there's a huge chance that you're going to get caught. Eventually, you're going to get caught. But he's so grandiose and narcissistic that maybe he was like, I'm going to be the one guy that doesn't get caught in doing this kind of stuff. I don't know. Nothing's like, that's the thing. Nothing's been discussed. Nothing's been, because there was no trial. So none of the evidence came out in the trial. Nothing. And there was a gag order. There was a gag order on this case for the longest time. For years. No one was allowed to talk about it. That was close to the investigation. Nobody was allowed to talk about it. The judge put a complete gag order on this whole case. And then he's like, oh no, I'm guilty, and pleads guilty to all 4 murders. And it's like, okay, now none of the evidence is coming out. So still, think about it. None of the evidence has come out in court. So no one knows any of the evidence against him. So I believe that there is a method to his madness, and he's trying to work the system somehow, some way. That he's got some kind of trick up his sleeve. Now, whether or not it'll work or not is a whole different story. But there's a reason why he's doing what he's doing, and he's going to try to get away with whatever he's trying to do. Remember, he has a master's degree in criminology. So he knows what he's doing. He has a working knowledge of how the court system, how the law works, how criminals work. You know, he's got a very strong working knowledge of all of this stuff. Master's degree. That's his specialty. And it just so happens that, you know, he committed something like this so heinous. You know, that's, you know. So if you think he's just gonna, like, he's not gonna just roll over and be like, yeah, I'm caught. No. He's gonna work the system. He's gonna do as much as he possibly can do, and that's what he's doing right now. And you know, I think, I just hope that I think it's going to be at least a couple months, if not longer, before, because now if you know, there's the legal process is just, it's drawn out. It can be brutal, and that's what he's doing. He's taking advantage of all those loopholes and drawing it out, trying to keep it relevant for as long as he possibly can. And honestly, I think he kind of wants some of the evidence to come out, because I think it would give him the opportunity to be like, look what I did, and now everybody knows. Oh wait, no, I didn't do that, but maybe I did. I admitted to it, but I didn't do that. But yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? He's really sick, and you know, who ultimately pays the ultimate price during all of this is the families. The families. And that's what I hope the judge and everyone takes into consideration the most, and they don't allow all this to go on in their courts. Because it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Keep in mind, people like him could possibly spring others that are sick to do similar things or worse. And he's got to be made an example of. That you're not going to be able to do this. No. It's not happening. There's never been another suspect in this case. There's never been another person of interest. It's been him since like a couple weeks into it. They were all. Dude, you're busted. You are busted. And like the Netflix documentary, there's people talking about it. I'm hearing about it. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And again, this happened back in 2022, but there was the gag order for how many years? So now this is when everything's starting to come out now. And now this is another like chapter in the whole documentary and books to be written on what he's doing now. And he's gonna drag it out as long as he possibly can. He's just gonna keep dragging it out so that, I don't think it's necessarily to get to the families. I think it's more just for his enjoyment. It's for him. It's all about him. It's not about others. He doesn't care about his family. He doesn't care about the other families. He doesn't care about the victims. He doesn't feel. What he cares about is himself, and how it makes himself feel, which is sick. He's very, very sick. Honestly, I think he belongs like in a mental hospital. I don't think he should even be. I don't even think he should be in the general population in the jail. I think he's that sick. I think if I were some of those inmates and I was in the same prison as him, I would be absolutely terrified. I would not want to be anywhere near him because he'll easily do something like that again. He will, the thing is I don't think if he was if it was like face to face with a male, I think his thing's against females. That's the thing. I think that's his MO. Did I lose everybody? Did I lose everyone? You were destined to talk to me today? Why is that? I think I lost everybody. I mean, there's really not much, like, there's some things that are coming out here and there about, like, what might have happened, but, oh, okay, gotcha, you're back, Joe. What? What are you talking about? I don't think that's not what I'm supposed to do. Hang on, I need a refill. I'll be right back, guys. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Stop being weird. Well, then she just heard that. Oh, we got I don't know what this person's talking about. Sherry, I didn't even know that you were still there. You're welcome. My pleasure. What that person's talking about. Alrighty then. This is just like a quick side note, but like, you guys know the song, This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. That song. There's like this little YouTube thing. It's like 18 seconds long. It's like a little snippet just with a thumbnail of this picture of this dude, and his name is Howie, like Howie, and then his last name is Dewitt. Howie Do It. And so it just keeps playing the song over. This is how we do it. It's so great. No, she didn't. Stop being so weird. Why are you being so weird? That is so strange. Oh my gosh, guys. 10,695 subscribers. We're 5 subscribers away from hitting 10,700 finally. Holy moly. If you guys are digging the vibe of this live, please freaking subscribe. Please get us there. I just noticed that. It's taken me forever to get at it, like the 10,000 mark. Even though, oh my gosh, it's taking me forever. Yeah, it's time for that person to go. That's really annoying. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't think they're delusional. I think that they were just trying to like troll or like get a rise out of me or you guys. Who knows? I don't think that they were delusional. I think that they were putting on an act. And thank you, Sherry, because it was about time for them to go. So that was getting kind of annoying. Yeah, I've definitely like consumed a lot of Nancy Guthrie stuff, and Brian Enton is I think one of the best reporters out there in the game right now, for sure. And I don't know if you guys know, but his father is a very successful defense attorney. Brian Enton's father, very successful defense attorney. But he's like so like for instance, like this is Brian Enton's reporting. So I was watching a video earlier on his channel. So he got access. Not only access, he was in Nancy Guthrie's neighbor's home with the neighbor's dog on his lap, petting the dog, and the dog's like, like loves him. You can tell, and they're inside her home, and she's allowing them. So they put blocks on, like they don't they stop everyone from being able to park out on the street there, and because they wanted them out of the area. But Brian Enton is still allowed there because the neighbor allowed Brian Enton to park his vehicle personally in their driveway. And he's in her home asking, like, interviewing her in her own home about everything and like what she knows and what she heard, what like what's because she's like not too like she's like right down the street from Nancy Guthrie, and I don't think she has a lot of information per se, but there are some things that she shared that were interesting. Yeah, his YouTube channel is great, excellent. His YouTube channel is excellent, and I saw that he grew to like I think almost 700,000 subscribers already, which is that's a lot. That's it's super quick. But he's been covering some huge cases. He's covered the Idaho 4 murders, Gabby Petito, and Nancy Guthrie. Those are the three main ones that he's covered. He's covered other stuff, but they're the three main ones. And he's been like, I mean, Gabby Petito one's pretty much over with now, but he was like very much involved with all that when that was going on. And he's been on top of the Idaho 4 since the beginning, and Nancy Guthrie. I love that he's not allowing the Nancy Guthrie thing just to go by the wayside. I don't think Nancy Guthrie is a cold case, by the way. I don't think it's gone cold yet. 6 months is not cold. 6 months is not cold, especially when they're testing like the DNA and stuff like that, like they have to do. I'll be honest. I don't understand a lot of parts of the investigation. Um, more so like the video. Like there's no video, but there's like still photos that I don't understand that. I really don't get that. And there's a lot of other questions I have. I'm sure a lot of other people have too. But I would think that they would have something by now. I mean, truthfully, I would think that they would have something by now, but they don't. Oh man, don't even get me started with Gabby Petito. But we can talk about that another night. I don't want to get into that. That thing, that's heart wrenching to me. Absolutely heart wrenching. Man, what a beautiful girl she was too, man. Just beautiful inside and out. How do I feel about dating outside of my race? Well, I'm not personally dating right now, but um, I'd be, I would. But yeah, I mean, uh, allegedly, I'm still not fully convinced about that part. I know that that sounds kind of crazy, but I, 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 I question that. I don't know how that would work, but again, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that, Mark Mills. I agree. Should be about punishment. I mean, you know, depending on the crime that you're convicted of. You know, that's an important part of it. My theory on what, Sports Jazz fan? I'm not. I don't want to talk about the Gabby Petito thing. I don't. We'll save that for another time. If that's what you're referring to. We'll save that for another time. That case like enrages me. Anything to do with like domestic violence or anything like that, like it actually makes me mad. Like really mad. I wouldn't say it triggers me quite anymore, but and I don't even know why, because I've never like, I mean, I've never personally like been around any of that, but like it just there's like I think it's like it's um I don't know. Yeah, I think about like wow, that like what a beautiful like female, like a beautiful like woman, that you know whatever, attractive. Like I I you know if I were with them, I would treat them the right way. I would show them love, and I would never ever like certainly not lay my hands on them or like emotionally mentally like abuse them and like traumatize them. Like I would show care and love and kindness and you know, and I would expect that back in return as well. And these like men that are behaving this way, like Mr. Tough Guys, it's like why don't you try that with me? Why don't you try to do that with what you just did to her with me? I dare you. I dare you. I dare you to talk to me the way that you're talking to her. I dare you to try to put your hands on me, like, or another guy, for that matter. And you know, I just like, and you know, I'm like, it's just you want to be there to like to say like, you don't deserve this. You need to get out of this. But it's like it just doesn't happen a lot of the times. I just think that like it went from like 0 to 60 in that case, like real fast, dude. Like he wasn't showing like signs, like maybe some a little bit of signs like that, and then they went on that like road trip, and then like he did what he did. Like what? Dude, like they like took his side. And the 911 caller, the guy that called 911 about the situation was like the guy was slapping the girl. The guy was slapping the girl. This is another man calling that this guy was slapping on this girl. That was the call. That's what they were investigating. How that got flipped around, I have no idea. He really wasn't defensive, though. That was the thing. He really wasn't defensive. And the thing, he didn't really have to be defensive. The oh, Sherry, they're not trained. I don't think they really care, but most of the time, most of them don't. Some of them do, but most of them don't. Truly. And they're not trained well on that stuff. Clearly. And any training that they're getting on that, they might as well just flush that down the toilet because That didn't go well. I mean, so he really, I don't think he really was defensive. I think that he had her. I think that he had her trained. He had Gabby trained. That, like, I'm sure when the cops are coming up, he's like, "You say a word, I swear to God," something along those lines, for that power and control. Like, don't say anything, or else it's gonna end up bad for you. And so then she started to put the blame on herself, and that's how he has made her feel all the way up to that point. That it's her fault. It's not his fault. She believed that, and that's what showed. And police should be trained to see those signs. When a 911 call comes in of someone calling that the guy was slapping the girl multiple times and hard, enough for them to call 911 about it. And now she's taking blame and she's saying like that. I mean, that's just textbook. I forget how it exactly went, but he really, I mean, he didn't he didn't seem like rattled, as if to say like he knew that she would behave. He knew that she wouldn't give him up. And and I think ultimately that is why, like, he took her life. I think because he got so angry at her about, because that situation actually happened. And I think, like, it was like it infuriated him. And even though it like worked out, I'd say definitely in his favor, nothing came of it. um oh, I didn't mean to unhide that person. Sorry, Sherry. I think we hit it at the same time, but it must have been a little bit delayed. um yeah, the police don't, they don't do anything. Like, they're like, well, get a restraining order. That a lot of these, I'm not, aside from that Gabby Petito, but these other domestic violence cases, like, they're like, get a restraining order. That infuriates the guy that you're trying to get a restraining order against. That infuriates him even more. You think a piece of paper is going to stop him? You think a piece of paper is going to stop him from doing what he wants to do and doing what he's always done? He's going to come with everything now. And once the female decides to leave is going to leave the relationship, that's when things get the most dangerous. That's when things, like, that's when, and she may have said to him, like, I'm just done, I can't do this anymore. And all it would take is like one time for him to hear that, and he's like, okay, that's it. And then it's like, it's basically like, if I can't have her, no one will. And but like, whatever she said or did, actions or maybe multiples, his anger, like, he was enraged and he did what he did. And he was probably like, even like, holy crap, look what I just did. Like, I killed her. And yeah, I know the audio is not the best. My apologies. I don't think it's that bad though. I've heard from others that it's not that bad. That people try to make it out to be. But yeah, I love how we started to talk about Gabby Petito anyway. Let's not talk about it anymore. What else did I want to talk about here? Well, we had a pretty big spike of new people coming in here. Holy crap. It went from 250 views to 365. Holy crap. That's wild. 367. It's still spiking. For some reason. Maybe because it's late and the lighting. I don't know. We've also been pretty engaged in conversation, regardless of what the conversation is. Let's see if I can flip this. You guys can see the ceiling. That's why I keep looking up. Look how cool that looks. Isn't that look cool? So we can change the smooth transitions. There we go. I actually didn't even anticipate going live again this evening, but I did. Dang, it's 376 now. Holy crap. It went up like 12 in like a matter of like 2 minutes. It's not even saying that there's anyone else joining in here. It's saying 0 on my screen right now. There's 0 people in here with 15 likes. Yeah, grab one, man. They're awesome. Shows an ocean. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We've talked about everything under the sun this evening. I can't believe I've been live for almost 140 minutes now. I should have monetized this. Dang it. That was stupid not to. How do you guys feel? I mean, I feel weird about like monetize like allowing ads to be inserted into the live streams. Like I just feel like that would be annoying if I was in that live stream and I just look at Hannah and Health, like she's like a huge live stream, you know, and a big channel, and she doesn't have that. But it doesn't even make that much money. It doesn't even make that much more money. It really doesn't. It's like a matter of cents. It's like if you stream for a couple hours with allowing ads, like yeah, I just don't know. Like, and I feel like it only hits certain people. Like, I know Julie the one time, she's like, oh my God, the ads are like crazy. And I was like, I have it on high setting right now, so I wanted to hear if any feedback from it. And she's like, yeah, no, I think it was Julie. She's like, there's a lot of ads. And I was like, all right, I'll change it. She's like, no, keep it, it's fine. And I'm like, yeah, but why is it always hitting her? She wasn't the only one in the live stream. That's not fair. Let's do a little experiment. Let's switch it on real fast. Let's switch it on. Let's see what we get here. It's on now. All right, it is on. I I mean, I'm not really necessarily comparing myself to others. What I'm saying is, I don't want to annoy people. Man, YouTube Premium is so expensive now. It's so overpriced. I think it's $14.99 a month now. That's insane. It might even be $16.99. That's ridiculous. I was paying it when it was $9.99, and I even was like, that's too much. But I refuse to pay what it is now. But I can't stand the ads. Even more so, what I can't stand about the ads, guys, especially here on YouTube, is it's the same ads over and over and over and over again. And the one in particular that is driving me nuts is the one that is, it's the religious one. I forget what those people are called. Those people, I don't mean to sound rude, but something about your burdens and your whatever, and it's like the book of whatever. I don't even know what it's, because it drives me nuts. I don't want to keep seeing the same freaking commercial over and over again, because I don't care. You have a YouTube TV? That's awesome, dude. How do you like that? No, you. Oh yeah, no, I don't think that would be part of that. You should get some. You probably get YouTube Music for free at least. What? How much do you pay for YouTube TV? What is that? Like, is it an actual like TV from YouTube, or like it's just a service on your own TV? You watch me up on your TV? Am I up live streaming on your actual TV right now? That'd be so awesome. That's really cool. What was I just gonna do? That's right. Thank you guys for still hanging out and being here with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we got some of the best. I think October is the best sports month that's out there, because you got, football just started. Basically, that's like in September, but it's still going on in October, and then you have playoff baseball, which starts in October, which I love. But I wouldn't say I love playoff baseball, but I enjoy watching playoff baseball. So that's going on in October. You got football, that's definitely in full swing. Basketball starts in October. Basketball season and hockey season starts in October. Yeah. Holy crap, $89? Holy crap, that's a lot, man. What up, Knock? Where's the healing? I'll tell you where the healing's at. It's on my elbow. Right here. And this one. Right here. I have 48 votes in the poll. That's awesome. Wow. Holy crap. It actually, 50% is yes now. Man, when this poll first started, when I first started this live stream, it was like no and what's that was like the majority. All right. Dude, that 89 bucks that's crazy. Plus, do you pay for cable too, or is that like your that's like your everything? Can you guys think of anything else that could be fun that we can do, especially on weekend nights, game wise? I got you. Yeah. Okay. That's understandable then. Yeah. That's understandable. Because you can get a lot with that. I know. I mean, YouTube is what I use the most. I watch way more YouTube than I watch TV. I mean, honestly, I use TV for sports. But I mostly watch my local teams that are Philly teams. So it's local for me. So it's on the local network, local cable network. Avalanche is the big thing. That's why you guys see me watching Avalanche games sometimes on live stream, because it's rare that they're on national TV for me to watch. I live on the East Coast by Philly. They play in Colorado or wherever else they're playing that night or day. I just basic cable. Just have basic cable. No, we haven't done Hangman for a while, but I was mostly thinking about something like new that we could do. Maybe like a new idea. To try something new, meaning like whether or not it works or not. I was thinking about maybe like doing like I could do like charades or something like that, like where I'm acting something out for you guys on camera, and then you guys have to like guess what it is. I don't know, but that's true. Yeah, we haven't done Hangman in a while. I like doing Hangman. I like hosting Hangman. It just like I don't want to sound like over the top, but like it is quite a bit to do on my part, because it's like I can't really like talk. I can't really chat with you guys because I have to concentrate on what I'm doing to stay organized while I'm behind the scenes keeping the rounds all going, and things written down and people's turns and all that stuff. Like it's not a lot to keep track of, but I can't really interact with you guys much while we're doing that. But yeah, I'm trying to think of something else fun that we can do that may work in a live stream setting. Have you played Hangman with us, Sports Jazz fan? Have you ever played Hangman on a live stream with us? I can't remember. We don't play it that often. It's only once in a while that I do it. And I had been thinking that we should do a Hangman. And I'm trying to think of ways like where I could like kind of make Hangman a little bit more fun and a little bit more like engaging. But where we're at now with it, I think it's pretty good now. People seem to enjoy it. Yeah. Yes. We could also do like guess what I'm thinking of? Guess what I'm thinking of is a real easy one for me to do. Like it's real simple, and people seem to really enjoy it, and it really ups engagement big time, huge, and brings in a lot of new people to the channel and live streams. I've noticed, which is great. Plus, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoy hosting it. It's fun. But also we could do like guess what, like for instance like Sherry, like guess what Sherry's thinking of in this category, but I haven't really figured out how to like work all that out where like it's it you know, where I can guess too. Like I will be the one guessing. The thing is, it's going to be delayed though on my end. But I can also comment on here. I could comment if I had the laptop. I could comment typing just like you guys are. And that would work. Yeah, definitely, especially on the weekends, like especially on like a Saturday or Sunday. Big time. Big time. It's fun. It's fun. It really is. I enjoy that. I enjoy those games and all. I do. But it would be nice for me to be able to play too. The answer is neck. It is. It actually is 1 a.m. I just was looking at the clock. I mean, it's a Friday night, and I mean, I'm not surprised that I'm still up. I'm a late night person. I'm a night owl. I usually am up late. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, especially on the weekends. I'm just not always still live streaming with you guys. Yeah, sometimes I'm in bed early, but not early, but like 10, 11, maybe even midnight. But yeah, yes, I love dinosaurs. I'm probably gonna be ending the live stream now. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Even though I could probably still stay on a couple more minutes, but it is 1 a.m. now, and I think, hold on, let's see. Yeah, although we never did anything with the ads, I forgot all about that. Let me, holy crap, look at that spike. 423. 423 views on this live stream. Wow, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. No, I hate dinosaurs. I'm surprised Sherry's still up right now, honestly. That's my biggest surprise right now. I'm surprised Power Island isn't on. I like both of them. Coke or Pepsi? I like both. I like both. I could do either. I mean, I don't really drink like soda really much anymore, but I do occasionally enjoy. I have a free Wawa, uh, like fountain soda I get, and I'm saving that. I think I'm gonna get that tomorrow. And I'm gonna get the extra large one. It's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be Coke. Took your meds, but they aren't working. Dang, that's crazy, man. Moon Squirrel's back. I'm not getting in the live stream quite yet. Moon Squirrel's back in the house. Thank you, Moon Squirrel, for the sparkles, and thank you for the sparkles earlier, my friend. What kind of soda did you have, Sports Jazz fan? That's the other thing that this chat, we're all foodies and stuff here. I love that we all are foodies. Oh, my arm is so sore. I think it's from cutting the grass today. Man, my arms are getting workouts, man. Look at these cannons. Looks like a toll. Oh, Dr. Pepper. I'm not a big fan of Dr. Pepper. But, yo, respect. Get your Dr. Pepper on, bro. I like me some root beer. I mean, I like most sodas. I just try not to drink them as much anymore. They're just so bad for you. Man, why are... Nice. So yeah, maybe we can try something like charades or something along those lines all night. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, we all have our bad habits. We all have our bad habits, that's for sure. As I drink, this is some white wine. But, I mean, like, you guys, I mean, I don't, you know, I sip on wine. I just like wine. I like white wine. I do. But I don't, you know, I like to just like sip on it in like in a relaxed setting, like especially with something like this. This is my wine setting type thing. But I'm you know I'm not drinking to get intoxicated. I really am never drinking to get intoxicated. And white wine just wouldn't really get me intoxicated. It's liquor that's the issue. Liquor, it's like when you start getting into the liquor, that's where like you know mixed drinks and stuff like that. That's where it can get because you lose track, especially when they're really good. That's my kind of guilty pleasure. I can do it. I mean, I can drink, but like I said, you know, my personality doesn't change with drinking. Like it just doesn't. There's lots of people out there that when they drink, they get angry, they get mad, they get like all this stuff, and it's like it just doesn't do that to me, and I don't drink like that. Robin, I love Captain and Cokes. Man, I love Captain and Coke. So good. That's such a great combination. All right, yeah, I'm gonna head out too, guys. I'm gonna end the live stream. Thank you all for joining, and good night, Sherry. Take care, and Sports Jazz thank you for joining. And I don't know if Moon Squirrel's still here, but if you are Moon Squirrel, thank you for joining. Thank you guys so much. Moon Squirrel, thank you for the star. I really appreciate it. Let me show you guys the only one time as I'm closing this live stream out. I'm gonna leave you guys with what I always leave you with. That is, of course, be kind to others, but most of all, please be kind to yourselves. It's known as self-compassion. Good night, everyone.